Yes. Third and very, very important rule is for everyone to ensure that whenever someone is sharing something, we ensure that we are not judging them. So please remember, there is no right, there is no wrong. We all are here to learn something, either from the conversation or from each other, right? So let's ensure this is a safe space for everyone. So I just operate with 3 house rules. Do we all agree with this? Are we on the same page? Let me know in the chat box if you're up with me. Great, thank you for the heads up. Now, I want to take a minute and I want to begin with a video. And please remember, there would be a lot of times where I would be asking you to do certain things or asking you to write or type in the chat box. So please be ready for that. And let's begin by watching a quick video. Let me know if this is audible. Was this audible? Right? Okay. So here's my first question for you. What thoughts do you have after watching this video? Please feel free to type in the chat box. So I see KK Sharma has raised their hand.
KK, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Are you here with us, KK? Okay, we'll come to you. Okay, Sharu says we must take a break once in a while. Yes, that's an interesting thought. Thank you. Sanjeev has also raised their hand. Sanjeev, can you unmute your mic and share what you want to do? Okay, not sure what's happening here. We'll come back to you, Sanjeev. In the meantime, I'll just go through what's happening in the chat box. Shambhavi says that break is important to boost our energy. Abhiraj says, I will share this with my close ones. Okay, great that you have a takeaway already within the first 5 minutes of the session. Great, thank you. Someone says barriers came till you reached the destination. Yes, so there would always be certain obstacles. Sujit says appreciate ourselves for the wonderful things that we do and take a break once in a while. Interesting. Priyanka says the barriers that we face helps us to upgrade ourselves. Absolutely interesting thought. Okay, Pavan says I never thought about breaks like this. This I'm going to share with my rigid riding buddies. Oh, interesting. A little pause is always beneficial if we find that things are not going well. Absolutely. Okay, Shalini says problems are a part of our life and we must not lose our faith. Interesting. Need to take break once in a while. Great. Now that we all agree that taking breaks is important, that is the theme for our today's session, mastering the art of relaxation. Now we all have agreed that it's important to take breaks. I have a quick exercise for you to do a realistic assessment to see what actually do we end up doing. Give me a second. Right. Now what I'll do is I'm going to share a couple of statements and you have to tell me whether or not you will feel guilty when doing those things. Give me 1 second. Okay. How many of you here would feel guilty for taking an off day from work? Now, this off day from work is only for your own selves. You aren't meeting anyone. You aren't attending a family event. You are not taking a break to recover from illness. This is just one day by yourself of yourself. How many of you would feel guilty of doing that? Someone says, I will definitely feel guilty. Pranjal says +1. Okay. Someone says, I feel not guilty. Okay. But a lot of you are saying yes. Some of you are saying not me. But what I'm seeing here, majority saying is that they will feel guilty. So for those of you who won't, that's great. That's a great space to be in. And for those of you who would, that's also an okay space to be in. That's the intention for our session. Mayur says, guilty for not being on top of my daily routine. Yes, that happens to most of us, right? Someone says sometimes, because that's my work and it has to be done by others, right? So oftentimes we don't like to put burden on others, or we don't like asking for help, right? Great. Just remember, wherever you are right now, that's an okay space to be in, right? One more question. Who here would feel guilty of not extending your work hours during your regular work days? So a lot of you are saying yes, +1. Yes, Surya. Who all here would feel guilty of not extending your work hours during your regular work days? Let's say you work from 9 to 5, and you might feel guilty if you don't work from that 5 to 6 or 6 to 7. Okay, here it's the opposite. Some of you have said yes, guilty. Most of you have said not guilty. Great. That's a great start already. Great start. Now, if I come back to the first question, feeling guilty of taking time off, why do you think that happens? Why do you think we feel guilty when we think of taking time off?
I think mostly it's we don't want to burden other people with our work, and we are too packed up with our daily routine that work becomes our life revolves around work actually.
Right.
So yeah, maybe for me that's the reason, one of the reasons.
That's interesting. And for a lot of us, life is equal to work, right? We can't sit by ourselves when we are not working. There is this restlessness and self-doubt. Why am I not working? Why am I not being productive? Right? Does that happen? Yeah, okay. So Saurav says yes, not to burden someone else. Ulhas says we are addicted to work, right? Family members say you're wasting time. Yes. So the idea of productivity comes into the picture again. Corporate structure teaches our bosses to make us feel that. That's interesting, Kaustav. We may waste our lives and leaves, okay, because we might lose confidence on managing. Interesting thought. Lack of communication with team or manager. Okay. So lack of support, right? I want to take a leave, but my team members or managers aren't supportive enough. Okay. It's a notion that if the whole world is working, I should be working too. Right. So fear of missing out, right? So a lot of us are agreeing to what is being said here in the chat box and what you all are sharing. So it's a collective thing that we share, right? Now I'll take a minute and introduce the concept of the fallacy of productivity, because that is something that you all have been hinting at. And let me know in the chat box, what do you think being productive means? We're just trying to delve a little deeper as to what stops us from relaxing. Okay. Good time management, getting the right thing done in the right manner within the right time span. Okay. Saste mein zyada fayda. Okay, interesting. Making bets out of your time in effective and efficient way to do best work. Love your work you do. Okay, make yourself busy with work which will help you grow and learn. Okay. Everybody should like our work. So that's an added pressure, no, Naveen? And I think it's not just Naveen, it's just Naveen who has verbalized it, but it's a shared thing, right? The idea of perfectionism, the idea of thinking and worrying so much about the outcome that, oh, what if I fail? I don't want to fail, hence my work should be perfect, right? Higher turnout per unit, okay, achieving daily goals. So many different ideas of productivity. Interestingly, the pop culture has many notions about productivity, and you can see them on your screens. And many of you have shared those things. So the idea of working a lot more and harder, making it the best thing in the world, right? Sleeping less and resting less, because if I do that, am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my leaves, right? As you have said already, the pressure not being in our own selves, with our own selves, the pressure of being busy, the pressure of following the herd, right? Fear of missing out. Others around me are doing hustle. They mentioned that they have been working till 12 or they got a call on Saturday and Sunday. Hence, I should also do that, right? And multitasking more to get a lot more done. That can have different aspirations, but that's also happening. Now, which of these pointers apply to you? Do you think, are you lying in the spectrum of fallacy of productivity? So do you think you're lying in this fallacy of productivity?
I think I lie in all the points.
Yes, and that happens to most of us, right? Thank you for the honesty. Yeah. Okay, Abhiraj says 6. Okay, Shalini says yes. Atif says all of the above. Right. Saurabh also says all of the above. Right. Now that's the intention behind having this conversation, that this is just the fallacy of productivity. Now, productivity can mean different things to different people, but this is almost always the things that keep us from relaxing. And if I'm not relaxing, what impact does it have on me? If I am going by this hustle culture, if I'm going by the social norms or how it's operating within my organization, what impact does it have on me? Any thoughts? When I say me, I mean you. What impact does it have on you? How does this impact you? Saurav says efficiency. Okay, Saurav, does that increase or decrease? Burnout, yes. Anxiety, eventually performance falls down. Efficiency decreases. Shubham says stress, right? Naveen says it decreases productivity, right? Now, ultimately, my idea is to perform, to be where I wish to be, right? To get that promotion, to get that raise, to get that social recognition, to feel fulfilled in my career, to meet the purpose that I joined my work with, right? Ultimately, when we get into that vicious cycle, that is the only thing that is getting impacted, right? The first thing that you start with ends up becoming the cost. So do you see the relationship here? Anxiety, yes. Health issues will introduce, right? Overthinking, yes, exactly. Now, a lot of reports say that nearly 55% of Indian working professionals, they experience stress every week. Nearly 70% of Indians, they experience stress due to their workload and pressure. Do you see the extent of these numbers? Do you see the intensity of these numbers and researches? And as you have already mentioned, it affects so many things, including your performance, your quality of work, your health issues, your physical health, your mental health. In fact, your relationship with your co-workers and your superiors, your peers, and people at home as well, right? How many of you would agree with me at this time? And how many of you would disagree with what you're seeing on your screens? Agreed, right? We have been there. And the sad part here is that we have accepted that as a lifestyle. We think it's normal because it is happening with everyone. And that's how everything is. We are living in 2022. The costs are rising. The salaries are still there. So many things to do, right?
Cost of this session is only for employees, like our members, Onsurity members. If you're worrying about your employers are there, I don't think your employers are there. Don't worry.
That's an interesting conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Saurav says, just a thought, to be honest. Okay, if I tell, we all know how we are affecting ourselves. Most of us are just procrastinating things which will improve us. That's interesting. Yes. So this conversation is bringing things to the surface, and from here we will move on to ways in which we can de-stress ourselves, we can relax, and actually those are very simple things that we don't procrastinate with. A lot of times we end up procrastinating because either we don't know the importance of the things, or even if we do, the tasks that we want to pick up are so huge, they are so large, they make us feel intimidated or overwhelming, as if it is almost unrealistic and impossible to move that mountain. So here in the next conversation, we are going to focus on certain hacks that we can practice in our regular lives so that it becomes a lifestyle. Very simple, minor hacks and lifestyle tweaks. Now, to move on to that conversation, I want to know from you all, what are some of the things that you do to de-stress or unwind yourself? Shobham says music. Okay. Kiran says yoga. Sharu says doing nothing. That's interesting. Kaustav says meditation, music, walking, traveling, movies, evening with friends, spending time with friends, connecting with pets, reading, gardening, okay, swimming, movies. Great. So many hacks. Kritika says no social media. Yes, digital detox. Traveling long distance, okay, playing with friends, spending time with children, time with family, okay. Thank you, Sarita. No tasks at all, visiting beach, okay. Glad you have the access to a beach. Good to know that, Ganesh. So, the things that we do, they either help us deal with our stress or they distract us from the problem. But ultimately, the problem remains there. In the meantime, we can choose to distract ourselves by maybe playing with pets or watching a movie, binge watching, binge listening, eating, so on and so forth, or maybe spending that money on Myntra and Amazon, or maybe spending on that on Swiggy and Zomato, etc. That's one way to look at it. And another way that might help here is to connect with your loved ones and being able to talk about what's bothering you, right? So many things like that. So I want to introduce 4 strategies, actually 4 categories and multiple strategies within them that are healthy coping mechanisms that help you deal with your stress instead of distracting yourself from that. Because ultimately it is bound to come back to you. Now imagine that right now everything is like a pressure cooker. And your regular stressors like fight at home, the deadlines that you're running behind, or maybe the appraisal season that you had, so many things, is just adding in the pressure cooker. What is likely to happen to this pressure cooker?
I think everyone knows.
Yes, it will burst, right? Yes, it will burst. Now, what can we do to prevent it from bursting? Is my next segment. We have to release the tension, right? And oftentimes when we distract ourselves, that is also leading a pathway to the pressure cooker bursting. So the 4 strategies that I'm going to share are going to be the ones that will help you resolve or deal with it. Starting with the 4 categories: being strategies, moving strategies, talking strategies, and writing strategies. You have covered many in the chat box. We will do guided demonstrations of all the categories in next 30 minutes. And I will also share certain other hacks and rationals as to what happens when we do these things. So first we'll begin with being strategies. And the first one here says practicing mindfulness. Does anyone know what is mindfulness? Okay, Naveen says meditation. Okay, that's close. Focus, meditation technique, self-time, being content. Okay. Yes, getting a gauge of your aura, knowing yourself. Okay. The art of being present in the moment. Thank you, Sana. I will pick that up. Rest other things that you have shared are the benefits of practicing mindfulness. But as a practice, mindfulness is just the art and also science of being present in the moment. Pranav also agrees with that, being present in the moment, right? Okay, a quick check. We are 84 people in this room right now and the time is 4:26. I am sure many of you are sitting in front of your screens but are not here with me mentally. And it's okay. That's exactly what mindfulness helps us develop. It is simply the awareness of the present moment where I am together with my body and mind in the one place. I am not replaying something from the past. I am not imagining something from the future. I am just here. How often does that happen that, while you're eating, you're also thinking of what next to do? Or when you're eating, there's one bite in your mouth, but you are also ready with the second bite in your other hand. Does that happen? Always, right? Or you're watching something and there's something else going on in your mind. Yes? How often does that happen? Always, right? Very often. Most of the times. Okay, yes. Exactly. So this is not one person, this is all of us. And that's also okay. That's what we want to hack. Why this is important in relaxing is because when we are too cluttered with our thoughts, we also start to associate with those thoughts. We start to evaluate whether the thought is true, whether it is false, what would happen, getting into all the what ifs. And hence with the thought, we start to associate with the feelings and emotions. Now, if the thoughts are unpleasant, of course, the emotions would be unpleasant. And hence we are in this loop of constantly stressing out. Now, to break that, we would be doing a demo of a mindfulness-based practice and specifically loving kindness meditation. Now, loving kindness meditation is a form of mindfulness practice which is geared toward eliciting unconditional states of kindness towards our own selves and others. So this practice has three components: generating compassion for the self, compassion for someone you care about, and compassion for all the beings. Right? Mayur, I'll be taking the questions towards the end of the session. Please stay with your question. Thank you for bringing that up. Please pack that with yourself and we'll come back to it. Thanks, Mayur. Now, coming back to the loving kindness meditation, this comes from the paradigm mindfulness-based stress reduction. It was pioneered in 1970s and it has been scientifically proven, accepted, and being utilized by many professionals. Now, I want you all to gently close your eyes. Just gently, simply close your eyes and assume a comfortable position wherever you're sitting. With your backs straight but not very stiff. Now, once you're comfortable, find the natural rhythm of your breath. Spend a few moments with your breath. Now, breath is the only thing that actually keeps you connected with the present moment. It is the only connection between your body and the universe. Spend some time just observing your breath. Don't alter the pace of your breathing. Just observe it as it is. Now, whenever you're ready, think of a person you care about. This could be anyone in your life, one person that you care about. And take a deep breath, hold it, and slowly exhale. During the pause at the end of the exhale, silently repeat the following statements, the ones that I'm going to share now. Insert the name of the person that you're thinking about, right? May this person feel loved. May this person's suffering come to an end. May this person feel contentment and compassion. And may this person feel at peace. Now take a moment to find your breath, fully inhaling, holding, and then exhaling slowly and gently. At the end of this exhale, find your pause and say the following things silently to yourself. May I feel loved. May my suffering come to an end. May I feel content and compassionate. May I feel at peace. Next, take a full inhale, hold, and exhale slowly and gently. At the end of this exhale, find your pause and silently say the following things to yourself. May the whole world feel loved. May the whole world's suffering come to an end. May the whole world feel contentment and compassion. May the whole world feel at peace. Again, take a moment to find your breath, hold it, and exhale slowly and gently. Remember to end with a full inhale, hold, and a gentle exhale. And finish with a pause. Without any judgment, take a minute to notice how are you feeling right now. Just notice, how are you feeling in the moment? Now, whenever you're ready, open your eyes slowly and return to your natural gaze. whenever you're back. Let me know in the chat box, how are you feeling at the moment? Calm, relaxed, feeling relaxed, okay? Happy. Calmer than before. Peaceful, very light, okay? Feeling cool, content. Everything is so relaxed around me. Very calm and light. Clear-minded, right? Light. I am feeling so glad that you're feeling this way. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Don't we all deserve to feel this, right?
Yeah.
Now you can bring this to your life every day. You can set aside 5 to 10 minutes every day at the start of your day or towards the end of your day or somewhere in between, whichever time works for you. Just try and maintain same time every day. Just start with 5 minutes. I'm not saying go into the practice of 30 minutes. I'm not asking you to go to Himalayas. Just 5 minutes once in a day, and imagine hitting that reboot button every day. Imagine what would happen if you feel this way every day, at least for some time. Now, mindfulness based exercises have shown that it doesn't reduce your stress, it doesn't eliminate your stress. What it does is it reduces the level of cortisol from your bodies. Now, cortisol is the stress hormone in our bodies that is responsible for the actions and reactions that we give out coming from stress. So when that hormone is reduced in our body, of course, my perception of stress and response of stress also reduces. That's one. So it hacks your brain on a neurological level. Second thing it does is, over time, it increases your tolerance towards stress. So let's say right now it would take you 2 comments to feel stressed. It may be a situation where it would take you 5 to 6 comments to feel that stressed. So it increases your threshold and tolerance for stress. Again, it does not eliminate stress. That really can't realistically happen in our lives, right? So that's the idea behind mindfulness. The second hack here is to looking into space. Would anyone like to share any thoughts about this practice, if you know? Any thoughts that come to your mind, please feel free to share in the chat box. Okay, it's just not looking at anything, just looking into blank space, looking into the sky, looking at the stars, looking at the trees, nature, just looking at distance into blank space, not looking at my screens, not looking at my ceiling, not looking at my phone. So I'll share a personal anecdote here. This is my favorite hack because it works all the time for me. So I remember this was in 2020 and it was a Budh Purnima. So it was June 2020 when the lockdown was there, the first lockdown, right? And it was a full moon. As I said, it was Budh Purnima and it was 11 p.m. in the night, and I suddenly realized, oh, it's a full moon day and it will not come for the next at least 1 month, right? The Budh Purnima wouldn't come in the next year, as in it would take 1 year, right? So I just decided that, okay, no matter how tired I am from the day, I deserve those 5 minutes. I will climb those 4 floors. I will go to my terrace, and that's exactly what I did. I ensured that I went up my terrace without my cell phone, and I just simply looked at the moon. While I was looking and staring at the moon, I was just focusing on my breathing as well. Because as we know, breathing is the only thing that connects me, my body, with my universe in the present, right? So to be fully aware of where I was, I just focused on my breath and gazed at the moon. And like after 3 to 4 minutes, I don't know what happened. I felt like hugging myself. I think that was one of the greatest forms of self-compassion I had experienced when the pandemic had begun and when all the turbulences were taking place. And I knew that I'm losing my job. So from there, I really like this hack because just looking into space clears off your mind and helps you look at the larger perspectives. This sounds preachy, but try it. It works.
It does, people. You should definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for this shout out. Okay, I'll take a pause here and I want to know from you, are we good and ready to move towards the next strategy? Great. So next up, I want to introduce moving strategies. A lot of you had mentioned exercising, going out for walks. That's pretty much that. Simple regimes, right? Jumping jacks in your place if you don't have the time to go out for gymming and hardcore exercises, right? Just as simple as walking, jumping jacks, on the spot running, etc. So what happens is when we move our bodies aerobically if possible, we strengthen our brain in many ways. So when stress affects the brain with many of its nerve connections, the rest of the body it feels the impact as well. So for example, when you're feeling too stressed, you might have noticed that your shoulders are too rigid, or your jaw is clenched, or you start having headaches, or there are sleep issues, right? Because the stress is now reflecting in the body. So now when we move, we are again trying to reverse it. What happens here is when we move, there are active hormones that are released in our brain, such as endorphins. Endorphins are the natural painkillers. Like we have painkiller medicines, right? So endorphins also help you do that. It's like natural painkiller, and it also improves the ability to sleep, and that in turn reduces stress. So that's the science behind moving. I know we all know that we should move at least these many hours in a day, at least these many times in a week, but we often don't do that. Hence, the idea is to build small regimes in your day that you think you can actively do. For example, once you get out of the bed, just do 5 to 10 jumping jacks. Or for example, whenever you take your lunch break or whenever you mark the end of your work day, you take out 10 minutes to walk around. And along the similar lines, another hack is to connect with art and connect with nature. I had also shared the example of connecting with nature there. And a lot of people say that when they're feeling too stressed or when they're in adverse situations, difficult life situations, connecting with art feels like a safe space to vent out, to express. I may not have a person at all times with me, but I do have my pen and paper. I have my colors. So I can create my own safe space as and when I want to let out my emotions instead of suppressing them. Remember the pressure cooker analogy? So we are bringing that in here. Now, do you know any of the famous celebrities who would use the moving strategies? Okay, someone says Akshay. Akshay Kumar. Okay. Has anyone heard of Nelson Mandela? Someone says yes. Okay. Now, Nelson Mandela also had a fitness regime even in the time he was in prison before becoming the president. And he had a regime of on-the-spot jumps and on-the-spot running and push-ups. So he had this regime, and it has been mentioned in various articles. You can look up for that as well. Nelson Mandela's fitness regime, even when he was in the prison. And that's what kept him going on. And that's what added to his resilience. Later on, he came and became the president. So you can read up about this. Now we'll do a little hack here. I want you all to stay sitting, or if you want, you can stand in your places and just move your neck. I can't see you, but I hope you're doing this. just move your neck. Slowly and gently. Also move your shoulders. We have been sitting all day long, right? Just move your shoulders. Now stretch your arms. Go easy. Once again, stretch your neck. And if you can get up right now, stretch your entire body. Do you see that the physical tension in your body has automatically reduced? Right, exactly. You have been able to experience that for your own selves. I know our doctors tell us this thing all the time, but there's a reason why they say so. And there's also a reason why so many people experience posture-related issues. Now, to bring this to your lifestyle, what you can do is you can install Chrome extensions or whichever browser you are using. There are multiple extensions that can help you become mindful or take a pause based on the timer you set. So imagine that after every 1 hour, you take out 2 minutes to just do this. Nothing more, nothing less. As simple as this. So that's the hack here. Now I'll quickly move on to the next set of strategies, talking strategies. So a lot of times we don't want to burden others with what we are feeling, or we may feel that, others are not understanding me. Hence, we try to suppress what we are experiencing. And we also don't want to sound like we are always cribbing, we are always crying. Iska to rona dhona hamesha hi chalta rehta hai. I don't want to be the one जो हमेशा रोती धोती रहती है, right? और मैं हर चीज में complain नहीं करना चाहती. Now, complaining might be a bad reputation, but it's not always a bad thing to vent your feelings out when you're especially feeling stressed. Now, what happens is talking through your problems, they help you get clarity of your thoughts. They help you bring the feelings outside of you so you can look at them more objectively as well. It's like, again, the pressure cooker. If you don't open the lid in the right time, in the right place, you know what will happen. Or even if you sim it, that also does not eliminate the chances of that pressure cooker bursting out, right? So when I know that others around me can help me out, why do I want to carry this burden all on my own? So once you try to speak to others, you are also in a better position to process what was happening, to look at the situations more objectively. And this happens a lot with me. The minute I start venting, I just tell my friends, hey, I don't need advice right now. I just need to rant or vent. I really am not looking for any advices. And in the process of venting, I start feeling a lot better without even getting suggestions or consultations from others. So I am equipped and empowered to take care of my own thoughts and emotions in that sense. And I can utilize that anytime. So this is what I like to call only to rant or vent out sessions. Make that a ritual with anyone you trust, anyone you love. And this is not a gender specific thing. Men, women, anyone can do this. So that's the idea. And the second hack here is to create boundaries between your tech time and in-person connecting time. So I do have friends. I make sure that every Saturday 11 p.m. I am meeting them virtually. But I also make sure that at least twice a week I meet some of my friends once I'm done with my work. I understand we can have our responsibilities, we can have people to take care of, kids, elderly, partners, so on and so forth. Can we connect with them instead? Can we make that quantity time into quality time? Can we have that mindful coffee with them? Can we try and check in with them? How was their day? and just listen to them uninterruptedly? Or can we ask them and set that as a ritual? Hey, let's spend 5 minutes every day to just check in about our days with each other. Or you can also do that with any of your colleagues as well, whichever thing works for you. So it's a lot of times cathartic as well, a feeling of relief, right? The charged up feelings within us, they become less charged. We gain more clarity of what is happening. Now again, we have a hack here and we want to practice it as well. Now I have a small activity, and here you see a question on your screens. Get ready with your fingers and the chat box. And tell me, when was the last time you appreciated yourself? Never. 2 days before, I appreciated myself almost every day. Okay, just now, a few minutes back. Okay. Yes. We also did the compassion exercise last week, 4 months before. Can't recall. I forgot. Last week. Before 5 hours. Okay. So some of you did that today. Some of you did that this week. Some of you did it last month. Some of you don't even remember when was this, right? Now, here's a moment to do that for yourself. I hope you all have a paper and a pen with you. Now, write down 3 self-appreciative statements. For example, I am doing a great job wherever I am right now. Or maybe, even if I am not satisfied with where I am right now, I am learning and exploring. Write down any 3 self-appreciative statements for yourself. Could be really simple ones.
Priyanka, when was the last time you appreciated yourself?
So I appreciated myself 3 hours back.
Oh.
I was given an opportunity to do a workshop in another city itself, and I said yes to that. And I appreciated myself that, hey, I've come such a long way that now I get the opportunity to do things in other cities and states as well.
Wow. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Komal. Thank you, Geeta.
I second Geeta on this. You should appreciate yourself for making us feel better.
I think we'll come to it when we also talk about the key takeaways from the session, and in that moment I would be open to receiving the appreciation or feedback as well. Right now we still have got work to do. Okay.
Guys,
So
anyone, if you are ready, you can show your hands. We'll ask you to.
Yes. So Ganesh.
Yeah, so what I written the sentences, I will just read them out.
Please do.
So I will make it the first sentence. I will prove myself. I will become successful. I will take myself to travel. I will take myself to forest. I will take myself to beach. I will make myself happy as much I can.
That's interesting, Ganesh. So these are a lot of hopes that you have and things that you want to accomplish. Can I also invite you to make this into present sense, the present tense? Because right now these aren't the statements that are appreciating you, yourself, your existence, right?
Yeah.
These are the hopes and future forward. Can I ask you to look at the present, look at some things that you're really proud about yourself, and then write that again. But thank you so much for sharing that, Ganesh.
Yeah.
Anyone else who would like to share, or you can just type in the chat box as well. This is your time to make yourself visible. Okay, someone says, thanks to myself for waking up early today and going for the run wanted to go for. Great. That's a great start to the day. I am taking care of my kids while working, right? That deserves appreciation, right? For your own self. Anyone else who would like to share? Or please feel free to write in the chat box here as well. I am working my best to fulfill my purpose. And that's also a great positive self-affirmation, Mayur. If you want, you can also write it somewhere around you. Make that visible, and that also answers your question that you had asked earlier. Okay, someone says, I had a knee replacement surgery 5 months ago. I am trying to get to normal walking as early as possible. And that's a great thing, right? I am managing everything by myself. Okay, that's a lot of self-sufficiency. To treat myself equally in success and failure, both without getting swayed away. Okay, a lot of groundedness here. I should keep ego and arrogance away from my mind. Okay, should always be a learner and never think myself a know-it-all. That's a great hope. Kaustav, I have the same suggestion for you as I had for Ganesh as well. Try to look at the things that are working well at present. I'm sure these are the places where you want to be, but these are also the should statements. That means you're also adding pressure on your own self to be able to do certain things. I want you to utilize this moment to appreciate what is working well or what may not be working well right now as well. So let's try to refrain from the musts and shoulds and look at the things that we have done or we are doing already. Okay, I always try to be happy. I'm always ready to take up challenges and I can work well in pressure. Great. Thanks to myself for growing up constantly and finding a better opportunity for myself, right? So prioritizing my learning needs over anything, right? I appreciate myself for attending this class, for learning, being, moving and talking. Okay, that's a great testimonial as well. Thank you. I appreciate myself that I listen to everyone with whole heart, right? And not everyone can do that. That's really powerful. I am doing great job balancing family and work. I am very loving and caring and I am happy with my achievements. I hear a lot of contentment here, Ruhi. Thank you. I appreciate that I am victorious in overcoming my fears. Wow. So taking your fears head on. Great. Great work, everyone. Thank you everyone for sharing this, and you can also bring this practice in your daily life. And that also brings me to the next and the last category where we are going to talk about writing strategies. So you saw that you have written this, right? So you can bring it into your practice where you try and journal things every day. So this was what do you appreciate about yourself. You can also do other prompts. Pick up a pen, pick up a paper, just keep writing things that you feel like. You can make it a ritual. Most people try and journal before sleeping, before going to bed. It's like, just putting your mind on a paper and going to your bed with a relatively freer mind and putting that chaos on the paper. That in turn definitely helps you increase the quality of your sleep. So journaling can be, how was your day? What are you feeling at the moment? What was your high point during the day, during the week, during the month? What are some things that you're proud of? Where do you want to go? What were your low points? What will help you be where you want to be? What are the 3 good things that happened to me in a day? Why did they happen? So you can journal about anything and everything. It can be unstructured, semi-structured or structured, however you like it. And there's a science-based exercise as well, which is called the 3 good things exercise. So before going to bed, I reflect on my entire day and I find out 3 things that went good or 3 things that made me smile. Was it someone getting me a cup of coffee? Was it someone complimenting me? Was it me being able to see someone smile? Anything. And trying to reason it with why that might have happened. So let's say someone got me a coffee without me asking for them. They must really love me, right? They must be caring enough that they did that for me. Or I asked a friend, mazak mein, hey, send me a hot chocolate, and they did that. So try to find out the reason why that happened and try and do that at least 4 times in a week. And try and do that over a period of 3 months. So today it may seem like you're just writing 3 things, but by the end of 3 months, you would have so many things to feel proud about, right? So that's one of the writing strategies. And in addition to that, there's a thing called free writing. When I say free writing, you set a timer for 10 minutes. You play some soothing music in the background. I wanted to practice this here in this session as well, but I know we are also running over time. So I will have to just describe the technique. You set a timer and you start writing with anything that comes to your mind. There's no specific thing that you have to write about, but anything that may be going on in your head. If you're distressed, if you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, angry, frustrated, anything, or even if you're feeling something pleasant like excitement, joy, peace, satisfaction, right? Just start writing. Only hack and rule here is not lift your pen till your timer stops. Even if you go out of words, write that I don't have words. I am struggling to write. But don't lift your pen till your timer rings. That's free writing. And with that, we are coming towards the end and closure of this session. So we have talked about multiple strategies, being strategies, talking, moving, writing. We tried doing demo for 3 activities and I just described the 4th one. Now with that, I'm open to any questions or any thoughts that any of you would like to share or ask.
I think Mayur had a question earlier back. So
Yes.
Priyanka, I think Mayur is on the call. If I would like to take his question.
Sure.
Yeah. So he was asking you that, ma'am, if we know our purpose, but we get disheartened in the process of becoming capable of our purposes, how do you deal with the constant fear of self-doubt or fear of failure?
Okay. So one thing that has helped me at least deal with the self-doubt aspect is that I try and document my progress. So let's say I definitely was not in a very satisfactory place 2 years before, and I am sure that I have many places to go. But that should not refrain me from acknowledging what has worked well for me. So can I make it into practice? Can I spend half an hour and imagine my life to be a river? And can I reflect on the things that have worked for me, the progress that I may have made, the attitudes, the beliefs, the skills, the learning opportunities that I may have been able to either work on or utilize or make them work in my favor, or maybe the relationships that I've been able to build, right? Or the steps that I have taken in the past or taking at the present to reach and come closer to my purpose. So documenting that, and whenever you have doubts, going back to that evidence. So it's like, it's your factual file where you get to go verify your doubts with your data. If the data supports, good. If it doesn't, you know that you're dealing with your self-doubts in the right manner.
Right. Another question Pawan has: how to tell a workaholic boss to take a break without losing my job? My question is also that. So.
Okay. So first I want to ask, why do you want your boss to take a break? Is it out of consideration or because that is coming on to you? So one, it's a question to reflect on. I don't need an immediate answer, but assess the need for doing so. And if it's like really coming from the place of concern, what might help here is, hey, I've seen that you've been working so much and you haven't taken a break in a long time. Is there anything that I can help you with, or is there anything that might help you take some time off? So try to notice what impact that might create, because being workaholic may not always be a problem. So point out certain problems or impact that may be having either on them or you or the collaborative space that you share, and then use a little of manipulation, diplomacy in a positive sense with assertiveness.
Right.
If that helps. Okay.
There's another question from Mayur. How to perform well in psychology test, or what do psychologists look into the candidates while judging them? All positive or happy person, or who can overcome struggles? A bit practical.
Mayur, can I ask you the context of this question? Because psychological assessments are done for different purposes with different audiences in different settings. So I want to understand the context where this question is coming from to be able to answer. Because in any psychological test or an assessment, all we ask is for you to be authentic and honest and not give socially desirable answers. Not coming with an intention of performing well, because that may not indicate the real thing. So that's one very important thing to keep in mind. Second, assessing the purpose of it. Is it for a hiring? Is it like a hiring assessment? Is it in a therapy setup? Is it in a career coaching setup? Wherever it is, manipulating that will not help. Because the tests, they have predictive validity as well. Let's say right now you're marking false things today. It will come in the performance if it is not a personality trait or if it is not an aptitude. So it will come in the performance ultimately. So we can't fake it till we make it here in the tests. And any psychologist does not look for any specific thing. We are grounded by data. We let the data surface and then we see what needs to be done, again based on the purpose. So we don't look out for any specific things, and we know that there is no one who can stay positive and happy at all times. And we deeply encourage that as any human, it is okay to pay attention to the difficult and unpleasant emotions as well.
Right.
Right.
Priyanka, Nilisha has shared some insights from TED Talk she has heard today. So I think we had a discussion about this, that we can't remove stress from our lives, like it's impossible. But what we can do is minimize their effects and maybe work on these strategies that you shared, like insightful strategies that definitely will help us. So yeah, I think thanks Nilisha for that insight. It's really helpful.
Yeah, it's like also adding more weight to what I shared.
Right,
So
right.
thank you for the validation, Elisha. Okay. Afsal says, I have pain in my back. Please recommend my medicine or physiotherapy. Afsal, that is beyond my competence area. I would recommend you to consult a general physician or an ortho. I'm not the right person.
To add to that, Afzal, you can take our membership on Surety, and our doctors team will help you and recommend the best medicine or maybe the physiotherapy you want. And it's at discounted prices, just to quote it. So you can take advantage from them.
Okay, so there's another concern shared. Okay, most of the times I experience unpleasant emotions. I break down sometime and I figured out there is an episode going through my mind from my childhood till now. Okay, which includes every single incident which did not work out for me. Is it normal or I need some therapy to overcome this? Okay, so there are a couple of things and multiple layers here. One, when we are saying that is it normal or I need some therapy to overcome this, means we are indicating that seeking therapy for non-normal things is non-normal, right? So a lot of times we don't need to have specific diagnosed mental health disorders to be able to reach out to a mental health professional. It may not come from a place of illness, it may also come from a place of wellness, because it's a continuum. It's not like polarity ki iska opposite is this. It's a continuum, it's a range, right? So from that perspective, if there is anything that is bothering you, it could be something minor in your life as well and something major as well, right? Some childhood experiences, some traumatic experiences, or anything. It is absolutely okay to reach out to a mental health professional at any stage, at any time. It is never too early, it is never too late. If you have that question, if you have tried working that within yourselves, if you have tried talking to your loved ones but that's also not helping, that's a sign that you should look out for a mental health professional as well. That wouldn't make you look you're weak, that wouldn't make you look you're abnormal or the taboo that we normally talk of. It's completely normal. It's completely okay. It is for your own well-being. But thank you for bringing that up and sharing that.
And sometimes I think it's better to talk to a stranger about your stress and your worries rather than to talk to your loved ones and known people. So,
Right.
yeah.
I think it's a
Thank
matter of comfort and a matter of what do I need at this point.
Yeah, right.
Right. I think that's that for today. We do
Yeah.
have a couple of questions more, but I can't be taking more questions, keeping the interest in time.
Then
But
yes, thank you so much for this validation.